Yes, yes, yes. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Dynasty Hotseat, the only Dynasty show that is a certified inferno. And we're back with you live on YouTube, live on X as well, chatting to you about what the hell happened during week 3 and what's going to happen in week 4 of the NFL. You don't want to miss it. Let's get right into it. Whoa, we are back. Paul, back again for week number 4. Great to see you, mate. How are you doing?
Oh, there is only one song that is better than that, and that is the Rewind song. That song gets me pumped.
Yeah, right. Absolutely. You're right. Pumped for week number 4, right?
Yeah, definitely. And we're a day early. That's my fault. We normally do this on a Thursday, but my job takes over sometimes, and I'm unavailable tomorrow. But we're back. We're here. We're rocking.
Back. Yeah, absolutely. And just want to say, if you're currently watching live on X or on YouTube, you can leave a little comment for our hot question segment coming up in a little bit. But you can only leave that on YouTube. So if you're watching on X, flip on over to the YouTube channel and leave a little comment in the live section box there, and we'll do our best to answer as many of those as we can. And hey, if you are watching and you are not already subscribed up, make sure you're hitting that like, hitting that subscribe button as well. If you're on X, make sure you're following along the channel and all of that good stuff. And hey, why not share this video around? Let's see how many people we can get up and watching all at once here. That would be absolutely brilliant. We're going to get into some NFL news. We got some questions that we're going to ask each other. We got some starts. We got some sits. We got a couple of sizzles to look at, all the best of the internet this week that we're going to react to. Going to be a great show. And let's get rolling right into, the first topic, which is the NFL news. And I mean, we've started with injuries every week, so why not go straight into that? Mike Williams, for me, not shocking at all. But it is maybe a little shocking that he's actually out for the entire season. Usually Mike Williams picks up these niggling little injuries here and there. He's out for the whole season. Paul, what was your instant reaction to
that? My instant reaction was a little bit like yours. You kind of expect him to get injured at some point. I have quite a lot of Mike Williams. Didn't realize how much I had till this week. But I've got quite a lot of exposure to Mike Williams. But so it's a bit disheartening. But one thing I will say is I don't know if we say this every year. I don't know if this is common or what, but does it feel like there's a lot of injuries so far? Every week we've had a season-ending injury to a player every week, and I just feel like it needs to stop. We need a week where we get to the end of it and there's no injuries. You know what I mean? Yeah. I think next week, if we do this week 4, without any season-ending injuries, I think you should do the show in your pants next week.
I mean, I could be in them right now. We'll just never know. It's like the optimal working from home like attire, right? It's just, but yeah, why not? Why not? I mean, that would be hard for me. I do it all the time, right? I'll agree to that bet, right?
Yeah.
But, yeah.
No t-shirt as well. No t-shirt. Nothing. So you have to stand up at some point to show that you're in your pants. No season ended.
I'm not sure if people want to see that. That might be a different.
Mate, right? All the fans want to see that.
Absolutely, but yeah, poor Mike Williams. I mean, for Mike Williams, dynasty wise, I said yesterday on the Dynasty Wildcard Dynasty show, I'm done. Mike Williams will never grace one of my teams ever again. This is the end. What is it for you?
Ooh, that's okay. It's interesting. I'm not sure on his age. I'm frantically strolling to find out how old he is. So you may be right. You may be right, but without looking into his contract situation, and because I know he's out for the rest of the season. He could be back next season. Is he back? Is he on the Chargers? Is he still in contract? They're all parts to play, because if he's still got, say, 2 years left on a contract at the Chargers and they can't get out, then obviously he still has a role to play in that team, and he's maybe somebody I'd be buying cheap. So I'm going to come back at you with a question now and say, Mike Williams is now out for the season. Do you want Joshua Palmer or do you want Quentin Johnson? Which one do you want? Because one of them is going to get that wide receiver 2 workload. And let's be honest, Herbert throws that ball about, mate. We've seen it this week. Keenan Allen had something like 18 receptions. He gets that ball about. Mike Williams was having a good game until this point. I want parts of that Chargers offense, so which one do you want? Do you want either of them? Do you want more Gerald Everett? Or how are you seeing this? Do you maybe see that when Austin Eckler's back, that he takes some more of them receptions than what he normally would? Is that the way you go with it?
Yeah, I think it's just going to go. And this is kind of a good sort of dynasty fantasy general tip in general. When a running back goes down and a running back gets injured, all of the carries have to go somewhere else. And it's generally the replacement running back that comes in, they get the carries because it's a 1-for-1 situation. Whenever a star wide receiver goes down, it's not the same. So whenever Mike Williams goes down, whoever slots in, like Quentin Johnson, if he slots in, he isn't automatically going to get all of Mike Williams's work. The more likely situation is Keenan Allen's just going to get more work. Austin Eckler's just going to get more work.
So what you're saying is when Austin Eckler went down, we should have all started Joshua Kelly.
No, because he sucks. Like they have to also be good. Like if I'm the Chargers replacement, like I'm not doing a great job.
How many people have been burnt by Joshua Kelly over the last 2 weeks?
Yeah, exactly. So I think you'll see a bump in Keenan. I mean, Keenan Allen, he's going to get an even bigger bump now. So is Austin Eckler when he comes back. Quentin Johnson, I'm not a fan of, but I am a fan of Justin Herbert. He could, give Quentin Johnson passes that are nearly impossible to drop, which is what Quentin Johnson needs, looking at his hands coming out of college. Joshua Palmer, I mean, yeah, I seen a tweet today. It's like, it's that time of year again when people get Joshua Palmer off the waivers. Like he always seems to live on the waiver wire and never really, come true. But you made a really good point, Paul, on the Wildcard Rewind show, which is actually when Mike Williams was out last year, Josh Palmer, he did really well when he slotted in, right?
Yeah, so if I bring up the Wildcard Rewind show sheet, I should have the figures there in front of me. So he went for, sorry, I'm just trying to find it. So while Mike Williams was out, he missed games he missed week 9 to 13 last year, and Palmer he had 371 yards and 2 touchdowns in them weeks. So he's definitely somebody I'm looking at. He is in consideration, and if I could pick him up on waiver, I put some bids in. I didn't go too extreme with him. But like I also said on the Rewind show, I do feel like this is now an opening for Quentin Johnson. He is a big-bodied wide receiver. He's basically Mike Williams, just a younger version of him. He's got that opportunity now. He's got that. This is his time. This you probably missed your chance at a buy low on Quentin Johnson. I think if anyone was trying to buy him now, I think people would be playing off the injury of Mike Williams, and I just think he's got an opening now. He could be a big value. It's his chance.
Yeah, this is his big moment and his big chance. And I mean, we've seen players like look worse than Mike Williams in college and come into the NFL and they're in the right position, in the right situation, at the right time, with the right quarterback, and they've looked really good. So I'm not ruling out the chance that Quentin Johnson can succeed, but I wasn't a fan of his tape in general. But we'll see what happens. But I'm not worried about Justin Herbert at all. Put it that way. I think he's talented enough to do it without Mike Williams. He can do it with anybody because he's an absolute stud. And the other bits of news that we have just quickly are we're sort of 3 weeks in now, Paul. Are you getting a gauge of who's the real deal in the NFL and who's not? And this is kind of an early hot question that we got from, wow, look at this, from the fantasy wildcard team. Saying that we got the best two here. Absolutely true, right?
100%.
But they're asking, what point in the season would you stop trusting underperforming players in your starting lineup? So this is kind of in the news. We're looking at who's the real deal and who's not. Who are you taking out at this point?
So, do you know what? The lower end, I could smash teams off in seconds on the lower end. You know, the better teams I'm struggling with. You know, I kind of feel that the Miami Dolphins are cruising around with a Ferrari shell.
Yeah,
but underneath they've got a Toyota MR2. You know, I don't know if you watched that Top Gear episode where Paddy McGuinness,
like a kit car.
Did you see that Top Gear episode? Paddy McGuinness turned up in a yellow Ferrari, but actually it was a Toyota MR2 that they'd converted into a Ferrari. I'm feeling like the Dolphins maybe that. I know they're doing so well on offense, they're so high powered, they're smashing teams and everything like that. But I'm worried that is not going to be sustainable. I don't look at the Dolphins and go, I can't see anyone beating them. You know, I feel like they're vulnerable. They could be beaten. At the moment, you know, it's hard to. You've got to look at the stats and you've got to stick all your Dolphins players in. The Eagles, I think the Eagles are doing what they need to do week in, week out. I think they do look like a good team. But at the moment, I'd have to sort of lean the 49ers, and I hate to say it. I think the 49ers do look like a team that could go all the way, and they are one of the better teams in the NFL this year. So going on the best teams, what do you think? Would you add another one into them three? Oh, let me guess, the Chiefs.
I mean, yeah. Well, look, the Chiefs are the Chiefs, right? But in terms of what I find interesting about this is like, I completely agree with you with those guys being the best teams. And then how do you link that to your fantasy teams? Because I've sort of been toying this topic of reverse engineering almost your fantasy team, and actually sometimes picking players from the best teams isn't always the best way to go. Like you might look at some Chiefs, for example. Do you want the Chiefs wide receivers? Like you'd think, oh, you want the wide receivers from the best quarterback in football, but actually that's not the best idea at all. You want certain parts of certain teams. So I always find that interesting. That do you think it's sometimes a good idea to pick from the worst teams because you know they're going to be behind, you know they're going to have to be throwing? It's a real fine balance, right?
They're going to get a bigger workload.
Yeah.
Aren't they? You know what I mean? You look at Justin Herbert this week. You know, Justin Herbert didn't go out and put 70 points on the Broncos. They went and put 28 on the Vikings. But actually, he threw the ball 47 times.
Yeah.
You know, he made 40 completions. That you want the pieces of that offense, you know? Don't get me wrong. Nobody could have predicted, what's his name? The tight end, Donald Parham. You know what I mean? Scoring touchdowns and stuff like that. You can't, you know, the touchdowns are a guessing game, but you want that workload. You want that person that's going to constantly be doing things. I didn't think Tua would have played in that game as long as he did. I thought they'd have got to a point where maybe 50 points were on the board. They were cruising and that's it. You know, bench Tua, bench Mostert, bench Achan and stuff like that, you know, but they carried on doing it. So I completely get what you're saying with the reverse side of things. You know, I think I remember you talking about this on last week's Wildcard Dynasty show, was it?
Yeah.
And you were talking about Joshua Dobbs. Now, I picked up Joshua Dobbs in one of my leagues and left him on the bench, and I think I played Ryan Tannehill, which, you know, you'd sort of go, oh, the Titans are a much better team than the Cardinals.
Mm-hmm.
And actually this week, Josh Dobbs would have outscored Tannehill by like something like 13, 14 points, you know? So I completely get what you're saying in the sense of you do want to look at them lower teams, and you do want to put these people in. But going back to the wildcard question, now I feel like there's a simple answer to this question, and that is now. You start looking and stop trusting underperforming players. We spoke about this on the Rewind show. Kyle Pitts. You're looking at players like Jake Ferguson. You're looking at players like Gerald Everett. You're looking at these sort of players and going, actually, they're scoring more than Kyle Pitts week in, week out.
Yeah.
The Falcons are not throwing the ball. They're not trusting they're not trusting Desmond Ridder to throw the ball very far. They're not utilizing Kyle Pitts the way that they should. And I think we're seeing that in quite a few teams at the moment. And so it's finding that balance, isn't it? It's finding that balance to judge that, and obviously if you can find that balance and judge that, then you've got all the answers. But to me, I think now, you've seen your team perform for 3 weeks. We don't know ultimately what the playoffs going to look like or anything like that, but you do start to know which teams are using their players the best and which teams aren't,
Let's play a quick game actually of trust or not. All right. So I'm going to just read out a couple of players, sort of topical names, and you can only say trust or don't trust. All right, you ready?
Okay.
Right. Darren Waller.
Didn't trust before the season, so I'm not going to trust him that much now.
Okay. Garrett Wilson.
Don't trust Zach Wilson at all. He's ruining that season that we all had panned out for Garrett Wilson.
Hollywood Brown. I thought I'd get you with that one.
Oh, I don't want to sound like a homer and say, oh yeah, trust him, but actually he's got sustainable work each week, so I'll say trust.
DeAndre Hopkins.
Oh, see, he's one of them players that you look at him and you go, I can't bench him. I can't bench D-Hop, because he can do it, but the Titans look awful. The Titans look awful on offense, Don't trust.
Okay, I got 2 more for you. T. Higgins.
Trust. I have faith in that Bengals offense. Trust.
Michael Thomas.
Trust.
Crazy.
Although I was going to say I don't know about Derek Carr and his injury, but actually Jameis Winston likes to throw the ball a lot, so I still trust him. And
last one, let's go with DJ Moore.
Don't trust the Bears. The Bears are awful.
Agreed.
Bears are really, really bad, and they're doing what the Cardinals should be doing.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Okay, bro. So that brings us to the end of our NFL news segment. We're going to swing into our sort of big starts and sits for the week. And just a reminder for anyone watching, leave a question for our hot question segment coming up. You got to do that over on YouTube. So if you're watching on X right now, head over to YouTube, type in the comments any questions that you might have. Paul, let's start with the start sits for the week. So for me, I'm going to go with somebody that has slowly been getting a little bit better and a little bit better. And I actually think that this could be his week to have a real boom week. It is Lord Voldemort himself. It's Deshaun Watson going up against the Baltimore Ravens, who, are missing a hell of a lot of players. I think if this is a full-strength Ravens team, I wouldn't be trusting him as much, but you've seen little things here and there from Watson where he's looked pretty good. I think this might be the week where Deshaun Watson looks a little bit more like the gunslinging old Deshaun Watson that we've seen playing for the Texans. So he's my start of the week for fantasy football.
Big divisional game as well, that, isn't it?
Huge.
Is it for the top of it's the top of the division as well. So
yeah,
both what I mean? It's a big game, that. So yeah, I like it. I like it. I'm gonna say somebody who is against another team from that division, and that is Tank Dell.
Love it.
Another player who seems to be coming out of his shell and sort of being trusted with a bigger workload and stuff like that. And they're up against the Steelers this week, who, as we know, are pretty awful.
Yeah, yeah, I would expect Tank Dell to continue his really strong start. That's for sure. And for my sit of the week, I'm actually going to go just based on traditionally what tends to happen. I'm going to go with any Dallas Cowboy outside of maybe CD Lamb, because they're going up against the Patriots. I think Cowboys got a little bit rattled last week by your team, Paul, and I don't think they're going to put many up against the Patriots. So I'm avoiding even Dak Prescott. I'm avoiding Tony Pollard. I think he'll be stifled by the Patriots, like we see a lot of running backs get done. So I'm kind of trying to avoid that Cowboys offense. If you're playing defense and special teams, though, that Cowboys defense, that might be an interesting start for your team for sure.
Yeah, I think I like that one a lot. I think, and we know what Bill Belichick is like. He will, like you said before, he will try and cancel out the best player on that team and stuff like that. So, it could be a tough day for them. My sit this week is going to be. I'm torn between two. Okay, I'm going to go for somebody that is. So I'm going to go with somebody that's back this week.
Yep.
He makes his return, or I believe he makes his return. He makes his return back to the NFL, and I think people are going to go, "Oh, he's back! I'm going to start him straight away." And that is Alvin Kamara.
Yeah,
I'm a little bit worried week one, like his first week, and they're playing the Bucks. The Bucks are always pretty good against the run, so I'd be a little bit dubious with Alvin Kamara. So, yeah,
absolutely agree. So we're on to our hot question segment. Quick reminder, anyone watching, if you do have a question, please hop on a YouTube and just leave a little comment in the live chat segment, and we'll get to the live chat questions first. We got one just popped in right now. We've got a question from GTIS. We've got Dobbs, JSN, Zay Jones, or Devontae Parker. Pick one to start, I assume, for next week in a pick one PPR league. I assume it's not one PPR.
This one is very easy for me, and that is Dobbs.
Dobbs, talk me through why you're picking Dobbs out. Matchup.
So they're playing the Lions, and I feel like the Lions are going to put plenty on the board. Going back to your theory, they're going to put plenty on the board. So I think Jordan Love's going to have to sling it about to stay in that game. And I think he's somebody that could potentially see more than the others. JSN is sort of, he's okay each week. He's struggling along. He hasn't had his breakout game. Zay Jones, it's always tough. He's third, maybe fourth choice receiver on that team, so tough. And Devontae Parker, I just don't like Devontae Parker. That's just a personal thing. But for me, it's Dobbs.
Yeah, I would go along with Dobbs there as well. I think he's going to get the most fantasy points out of those guys. The Lions, that'll be a great game. That'll be a good shootout for sure. So thank you to Gits for that. Absolutely brilliant. Anyone else? Remember, if you got a question, just leave a quick comment and we'll try and get to it. Paul, I'm going to ask you my hot question though.
I've got a hot. I was going to give you my hot question.
Okay, do you want to go first? I'll let you.
Yeah. Okay. So I want to find out what your favorite duo is.
All right.
Is it Kelsey and Swift, or is it Kelsey and Swift?
I mean, obviously, I'm torn because Big Trav is my favorite. But I mean, did you see that post, the tweet that went up? It was Jason Kelsey and DeAndre Swift. It was like, I can't believe these two are banging.
It was somebody else put up a sign saying there's only one Kelsey and Swift, and that was at the Eagles game, wasn't it? And it was like, I just think it's absolutely brilliant that Travis Kelsey turns up with Taylor Swift, and his brother plays on a team with somebody called DeAndre Swift. So it was like it just the internet just imploded.
In the words of the very wise Ali Cook, I'm a Swiftie for DeAndre. Right? That's my. And actually, my call question for you, Paul, actually links into our main man Gits again, commenting again, just asking where are you from? We're both from the UK, and my hot question is kind of linked into that, Paul. It is obviously London games coming up real soon. If there is a London franchise eventually created, eventually born, I've got a two-pronged question for you. All right, one,
really
one, do you drop allegiances and go support them, or do you do the dreaded "I support two teams" bullshit? And secondly, what should they be called? What's the best name for the London franchise?
No, I don't drop the allegiance. That's based on my soccer background. You never change your allegiance. That is your team.
Yes.
Your team is your team. You know.
Yes.
No matter if they move or what. You know. I know the Americans are very much like, yeah, we'll support whoever we want. You know, whoever's the closest one and whatever. So no, I wouldn't drop my allegiance, and they should be called London's Lambs.
London Lambs. London Lambs.
The Welsh coming out in me, you know?
Yeah. I was sure you were going to say dragons as well. I was like, oh, he's going to say dragons. I was thinking about this in my commute home today. I was like, what would be a good name? I was like, well, what are things kind of associated to like the UK? And I was thinking, UK, like Union Jack. And I'm like, oh, the London Union. That might be a good name, right? Like the Union Jack. I'm like, I quite like the London Union.
No, it sounds like you'd all be protesting on a picket line, supporting London Union or something.
That's
like
the
that,
teacher.
You know?
That's the teacher in me, just wanting to strike all the time, right?
Yeah.
It'll be something crap, right? It'll be the London Monarchs or something bullshit, like something rubbish like that, right? It's always bad. It's never a good name, like Manders. Like, yeah.
Is it really bad that I thought the London Monarchs was a really cool name?
No, it'll be. But I just think it's too obvious. I mean, it's good because it's obvious, but I just feel like that's like a super obvious one of like the London Kings, or like, yeah, it'll be something to do with the royal family, probably, right?
Yeah, 100%, and they'd be sponsored by like PG Tips or something, because that would, you know what I mean. Everyone in England, all they do is drink tea, you know, and it really. We're playing the London Kings. Some tea, you know.
London tea sippers. That's got a nice ring to it, right? We got Ricky Double A. What's up, Ricky? Ricky's asking, should I pick up Tank Dell or Robert Woods? Hey, Ricky, you should pick up both probably if you got room, because they're both absolutely balling out right now. What do you think, Paul?
Yeah, if you got room for both of them, take both of them. But if you've only got room for one, Tank Dell over Robert Woods.
Yeah, I think Tank Dell's got the higher upside for sure, and that link with CJ Stroud is growing and growing. If this is Dynasty, they should both be rostered. If they're not, if this is Dynasty, pick up both for sure. If you're in
if this is Dynasty, 100% get Tank Dell now. You know.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, definitely. So yeah, that's the end of our listener questions for the week, Paul. We're going to get into my favorite part of the show. It's time to show you some sizzles. It's the best of the internet this week. So let's pull up what we got. We had to start with this, Paul. I mean, what an amazing 62-yard field goal. Paul, could you sum up your emotions after you watched Prater's field goal from 62 yards?
Jubilation.
Yes.
Ecstatic.
Yes.
Confused. Didn't think he'd ever be able. Didn't think he'd ever be able to kick that far.
Yeah.
Annoyed because now we were 11 points up, and I was hoping we'd tank this season and not go out and beat the number one defense. You know, so bit of everything, mate. You know,
a little bit of everything. Yeah, that's the life of a Cardinals fan, right? There's a little bit of everything. Yeah, absolutely. So let's move on to our next sizzle reel. We got. I mean, there are so many things I could have picked from this game, right? But let's have a little look at Devon get the tables, A-Chain, just absolutely crushing the Denver Broncos. What a crazy game, right? Did you get to catch this live?
I only what was on Red Zone, but crazy stat for you. Okay.
Yeah.
6 of the fastest ball carriers in 2023 are all on the Dolphins.
6. So you got Devon Achane,
Mostert,
Bubba Raheem Mostert. You got Braxton Berrios.
I couldn't name the rest. All I know is that
the
6 of the fastest ball carriers are on the Dolphins team.
Wow, I bet Braxton Berrios is one. That guy, I like me some Braxton. But yeah, pure time to be a Broncos fan. We talked about getting the tables, right? Devon, get the tables. Achane, have a look at this. This is supposed to be a Bills fan, right? Getting the tables, and oh dear, that's not gone very well, has it?
The thing is, that's a classic example of these people going, they do it on WWE. I could do it as well. And they don't tell you that they make the tables in WWE weaker in the middle, so it's easier to go through and it doesn't hurt them.
Yeah,
but they're like, I could do it as well.
Yeah, well, that's what happens. Don't try that at home, folks. Absolutely not. And we got another player from NFL this week. What do you think about this? Look at this block from George Pickens. What is he doing? Pickens right here for people who can't see him. What? Have you seen that before?
It's classic Pickens, swing and a miss.
He's not even my favorite thing is he's well clear of him as well. There's no need to block. Is he trying to draw a flag? What is he? Well, there's already been a flag anyway. I don't know what he is thinking, but I mean, I didn't know what he was thinking whenever he looked like a psychopath before he was drafted either. So George Pickett's just an odd guy in general, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Absolutely.
No relation. Just saying.
See if you can keep your eye on here. This is from the Bengals Rams game. See if you can spot Sean McVay here, right? Watch the wheels on Sean McVay. Look. Clocking like a 4.4 there, right? Look at that.
I'm surprised they haven't put him in pads and just gone, you can run this one.
If Kyron Williams can run in this offense, Sean McVay can run in this offense. Let me tell you, he can draw up schemes for anybody, that guy. That's for sure. And hey, have a look. It's everybody's dynasty bench this weekend. Horrifying to look at, right?
That is hard.
Look at all that. Yeah. I mean, if you were starting Devon Achane, you probably didn't want to win this week anyway. You're like the Cardinals. You probably wanted the first pick.
I want to bring up one of my teams. Okay, so I play in a dynasty league. I'm not going to name any names apart from Rich Coolin, who I beat. So I was the, when we get that amazing weekly report, I was the top scorer this week. Okay.
Yeah.
So I had Brian Robinson, not Brian Robinson, Bijan Robinson. Sorry, Bijan.
Yep.
Devon Achane. Yep. I had Tyreek Hill. Yeah. I had Josh Palmer. I had DJ Chark. I had Rondell Moore, Rashee Rice. And then in my superflex position, I haven't revealed the QB either yet. So in my superflex position, I had Jacoby Myers. And in my QB position, I had to start a QB who wasn't started because all of my QBs are injured or out. So I went and shot with Tyler Heineke thinking, if he gets some snaps, he may get me some points. So I didn't actually have a starting QB this week in that one. And just to reel off a few names in Rich Coolin's team, because I beat Rich Coolin, was Lord Voldemort himself, Jamar Chase, Devontae Adams, Travis Kelce, and also Baker Mayfield in the Superflex. The rest of his players were pretty garbage, to be fair. And I went and beat him. And not only did I beat him, I was the top scorer in the whole league. So I would have beat anyone in the league. And I didn't even have a starting QB.
Sometimes you're just too good for this game, Paul, right?
Mate, sometimes you have to start players because you've got no other. I took it on as an orphan and it's really bad. And I had to start players that I wouldn't have started this week but they all hit. They all hit. So.
Yeah, absolutely like this. I mean, there's so many.
So that there on the screen was looking like my actual team.
That is quite nice, actually, quite nice. Too many people caused pain for me, and this is maybe my favorite play actually from this game. Kind of went under the radar, but have a look at this pass from Tua. Absolutely beautiful.
Did you see the post-match interview?
I did not. No.
They spoke about this, and he run it in practice, and he like a bit of an open one, and he run it and threw that, and they were like, "Man, that was so cool! You should do that in the game." And he was like, "Yeah, okay, I'll bring it to the game," and I just love it, mate. I love it.
No look, and of course he's left-handed as well, so it's no look out of the wrong hand, right?
Yeah, brilliant.
Unbelievable. Straight out of Patrick Mahomes' playbook, right? The master of the no look. And this is the one you requested from me, Paul, before the show. You were like, do you have that unbelievable catch in? Yes, I do. For those people who have not seen it, look at this from college football over the weekend. An absolute peach coming out of the Florida Gators team. One hand, OBJ-esque, right? Have you seen that? You've obviously seen this, right?
Yeah, I think what I love about this is the catch, his confidence, and the fact that he knows that he's about to be pummeled by three different guys coming in from. Look at that angle there.
Yeah,
you've got three guys running at him, and somehow he still made the catch, held on to the ball, and then stood up like Poseidon coming out of the sea.
Love it.
Like now, right there we go. I am a god.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant catch from college football. Really, really good this year, by the way. Some really good games going on. Absolutely brilliant. What was your reaction? I don't know if you've seen this live. What was your reaction when you seen this happening in the Vikings-Charger game? Justin Jefferson going down for an extended period of time.
Worry.
Yeah.
Really worry. And I think everyone was like, no.
Well, yeah, that's the tweet from Sleeper NFL. It says no.
You could come, you can have Mike Williams, you can take him, Nick Chubb, you can have him.
Yeah.
Dobbins, we'll give you all of him.
Yeah.
You are not taking JJ.
We're
not taking him. Leave him alone.
Absolutely. Luckily, just some cramp for Justin Jefferson. He was absolutely fine, which is good. If they lost him, they may as well tank and try and come last, right? And then try and link up Caleb Williams and Justin Jefferson. That actually, him going down might not be the end of the road for them at all. It might actually be quite a good thing in the long run. Did you have a little look at what Daniel Jones looked like at the weekend? Actually, I think this is maybe from Monday Night Football. This is Daniel Jones just, thinking about what his next move is going to be. This is what happens when you play the 49ers defense.
He just looks confused and worried, doesn't he?
Yeah, I'm not really. People looking at him.
It's like he doubts the play in his head, and he's like,
"Yeah,
have you just given me a play I doubt, and you put me to do it in front of the 49ers?"
I mean, yeah, the poor guy. There's so many people that could just crush him on that defense as well, and he probably got hit right after that play as well. Poor guy. Hey, look, this is me serving you up a little bit of Darren Waller if you put him in your fantasy team this week. Hey.
Oh, mate, we've just seen how confused his QB looks. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly right. He's not doing too great. Sadly, my main man Daniel Bellinger not quite catching up yet. But give it time.
Give it a chance. Yeah. Give it a chance.
Hey, I spotted what Jamar Chase has been using the first few weeks. Have a look at this. Jamar Chase must have been using one of these bad boys. Look at that.
Wow. Whoa, hang on. Jamar Chase went off on Monday night.
Yeah, I know, but it's the first 2 weeks. I've got to give the Bengals some kind of slack, right? I can't be a show without doing that.
Yeah, it's got to be. It's got to be the 1 and 2 Bengals,
Exactly, the 1 and 2 Bengals. But that's pretty cool, right? I might try and get myself one of those. I have a new favorite thing, Paul. Right? Have you seen?
I think I've seen this before.
The mascots versus kids football games. They are. I'm not even joking. they've overtaken the best thing in football. For me, it was always, I've said this before, whenever a referee throws his flag and then doesn't have a flag and he has to throw his hat in the air, that's the best thing in football. This is now the best thing in football. The mascots versus kids. Look at this. Absolute sending these kids to hell. Absolutely love it.
Do you know, that's justice, that is. Justice. The way that he went through that poor child, I'm glad that they stopped him from getting the touchdown.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's like, hit a child's soul there. And then they've all gone, no, you're not having this. You're not having this. Tough luck.
Yeah, well done to the kids for keeping them out there. But yeah, I mean, I need full Game and 40 highlights for these as well. I need to see the whole thing because they're absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
We've got I'm a teacher, Paul. This is one of my experiments I've been doing in class. What do you think about this?
I don't believe you.
This is a great idea, right?
No.
Nothing could go wrong. Oh no. That's not the best result ever, right?
No, that's not. Oh man, I've seen this. Oh, this
this poor guy fell asleep at the wheel, and this is what happens if you forget to set your lineups, right? Things can just come
so bad. It's so bad.
Yeah, that's everything come crashing right down. Live footage from Minnesota Vikings HQ, right? This is absolutely terrible. Here, this is the Cowboys fans, what they thought was going to happen and what did happen. Have a look.
Hey, this is Joshua Dobbs, mate.
Yeah, steamrolling,
rolling down,
sending those Cowboys flying, right?
You know what I mean? I heard he said like, Mika who? Mika who?
Yeah, Josh Dobbs. His underwear clean as a whistle after that game.
Yeah.
No effect on him at all. Hey, look at this, Derek Henry. Please give me a single block. The Titans' offensive line.
Doesn't he ask for a Diet Coke as well?
Yeah, I think so.
I never got a Diet Coke.
We've got that represented in another fashion here. We got here Derrick Henry ready to lift the full load. I want you to imagine this guy back here is the Giants' offensive line. This is how much help that they're getting, right? Ready to carry the load. And let's see how much help he gets from this offensive line. Come on, do something.
Does he? Just do something, you know? Even after he's on the floor, and he's obviously injured. He's just leaning on it like, you all right, mate?
Yeah.
You good?
That's the Titans in a nutshell this year, right? Absolutely. We got a few more for you. We got this guy. It looks a bit like Kyler Murray, right? This is why you should have some friends that you trust. So I think this is maybe Cardinals fans going into week 4, confident of another victory, right? So. It's crazy out there, Paul. You need to be careful.
He's the wrong side of the door now.
Yeah, he's been trapped out. Yeah, that's
my God.
Locked out of the race for Caleb Williams, sadly.
I'm intrigued with the next one because it says Dynasty Grill on X.
Oh, of course. This is one of the tweets from Ali. It says, waking up as a Denver Broncos fan this morning. Oh.
Oh man,
that's good. They must have some kind of PTSD. It's just like, if you listen carefully, the Dolphins have scored again, right? Just always running up at them.
I heard one of them woke up screaming, just like, no,
not again. And Paul, we're going to end on some wholesome content. Paul, you've got kids, right, Paul?
Yeah. I think so.
Yeah.
I hope.
And you got tattoo. You got any tattoos like for any of your kids?
Yeah, I've got them all on me.
Lovely. I mean, look at this. This nice person had a nice tattoo of their kids holding onto their father's finger. It turned out really nice, right?
Oh man.
It looks great.
Oh man,
What?
no.
Look how wholesome that is, right?
It looks exactly the same, doesn't it?
It looks virtually identical, and that's all the sizzles I got for you, Paul. What do you think?
So there's one, and I thought we'd have it last week, and we didn't have it last week, and I thought we'd have it this week, and we didn't have it this week.
Okay.
And I wish I could go and find it, but I can't. So, the Jared Goff one, where
him jumping.
No, it's the one where he runs a play, and then passes it to the running back, but then steps back to make it look like he's going to throw the ball, and does it so well that the defender comes through, puts him on the ground, and then you can see him in the background. He's walking away and he's throwing his arms up like he's just got a massive sack, but yet they're running the ball, and it's like you've now just given him a penalty because you've hit the QB really late, And man, I can't believe you haven't got that one on you.
Yeah, I did see that one actually. I don't know why I didn't end up, because afterwards as well, the was it Jags player? He was like going like, "Oh, you're such a crybaby." He was like, "Bro, you hit him like 30 seconds too late." Like,
the ball was
stop crying.
The ball was gone, mate. He mugged you right off. That play was designed to make you hit him, so they'd run the ball and get more because you've hit the QB really late and stuff like that. And it was just, I just thought it was superb acted how he just went.
Yeah, it was absolutely superb. You are right. And Paul, that is the end of the show. Thank you everyone for tuning in and watching. If you've not already, make sure you're hitting a thumbs up, a subscribe, a follow, wherever you're watching. Do all that good stuff. And hopefully you enjoyed. We will see you next week when we're going to review all the stuff that happened in week number 4 and preview week number 5. Paul, you got anything to say before we head off? You want to tell people where they can find you?
Bro, what? Week 5?
5 already.
Somebody slow it down, okay? Before we know it, we'll be in January again. And it'll just be like, oh, let's talk some more rookies and stuff. And everyone's going to have their hopes on every player's going to go off this season. It needs to slow down, man. I can't believe we talk about week 5. But yeah, find me on X and Paul_picking and all that, yeah.
Sounds perfect. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Remember, for anything Dynasty you need to know, keep it locked on the Certified Inferno. And we'll see you live next week.